If you're running a business or thinking of starting one, our aim is to give you the tools you need to achieve the success you'd like. No matter how obscure or niche your business is, there's probably a market for it. You just need to know how to speak to them. In our complex world, technology can be a hindrance or a help for the small business owner. Ruth Weaver has successfully utilised technology to grow a business in stationery supply in an otherwise shrinking market. She joins us today to tell us how she's used that technology to create a large business over the last decade. Hi Ruth.
Hi Elaine.
Thanks very much for coming in to talk to us today at Bookable. It's a real pleasure to meet you.
And you.
And thank you for bringing these little guys in. Purple Cow. Where did that name come from?
The business was called another name originally, which was an incredibly dull, boring name. And I wanted to rebrand it. This was about 10 years ago. And I happened to stumble across a book by an American marketing guy called Seth Godin.
Okay.
And it was called How to Transfer Your Business by Being Remarkable.
And so it was really to make the name stand out from
Yeah,
the other things.
I was approached by our wholesaler. They wanted a few companies to have a much bigger online presence for their office suppliers businesses, and they loved the new Purple Cow brand because it's different. It's fun, it is different, and people remember it.
And these are not just things you've brought in to make me happy. You also use them in your marketing, presumably, do you?
Yeah, I do.
And you've got a little tiny one over here.
I have, yes. They're also incredibly good to market on social media. So at the moment we have social media campaigns. Any people that I network with, my clients, my suppliers, wherever they go in the world, they take a Purple Cow with them and they post a picture of her somewhere in the country, right. And then it's a hashtag, where is Purple Cow?
Okay, so it's a bit like the elf on the shelf idea.
Yeah, and you have people commenting, trying to guess where it is. And it's fun and it's free and it gets an awful lot of attention. So that's why we do it.
Uh-huh. I was looking at your website and looked at your mission statement, and that was the thing that you focus on, is the customer service in your business and wanting businesses that you work with to be more efficient.
Yeah. So for me, if I've got the right systems in place, if my website is working correctly, it just makes it easier for the end user to purchase from my business. That's what makes it. That's just what makes it easy for them to deal with a commercial dealer like myself.
Is it a bit of a pain because it's something that every business needs and they have to order it?
It is something that every business needs.
But it's not like a kind of nice to have. It's an essential kind of thing.
It's an essential. Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, we've gone a lot into the online market, but you would be surprised as to how many people would still want my thick catalogue that's got all my 20,000 products in it, because they like flicking through it. They like seeing what's there. But there are a lot of buyers that just want to, I've got this to do and I've got that to do and I just want to get on Purple Cow website, bosh, bash, bosh, and buy it and done and forget about it. But it is a necessity for nearly all businesses.
We talked about customer service being really important to you in your business. So does the technology and the fact that then runs by itself, and the price changes and all of those kind of things, and the order fulfillment runs by itself, does that then enable you to build better relationships with your customers?
It does, and the reason it does is because it gives me more time with my customers. And that's, when I first started out, I'd be taking orders on the telephone and I'd be writing it down on a pad, and then I'd be trying to figure out a way of either ringing the wholesaler, and it was ridiculous time-wise. Now the system is so efficient that I can spend time talking to my customers about what they need, whether they're happy, if the pricing structure is correct, and if there is anything I can do to offer them to make their lives easier as well. Because, like we said earlier, stationery to some buyers is a pain and a responsibility that they don't really want, but it's kind of been pushed on them.
We talked a little bit before we came into the studio about large organisations not being able to get the footfall and the traffic through and going to the wall. How have you managed to sustain yourself through that 10,000 drop into 800? Is it because of the technology, the aspects of that we've just talked about, or is there something else?
Mainly because I have invested in the technology, but also I didn't just wake up 5 years ago and think I'll start an office supplies company. I've seen it from a very old-fashioned industry and become this monster which has got so much technology around it, but also you have to be very skilled at pricing. You have to, like I said earlier, it's not about just giving 10% off this and 25%. That doesn't work in the industry anymore. You have to price clever. I feel I am still where I am through loyalty from some of my longest customers, of which one has been with me for 23 years, and they're still ordering. They remain my biggest client, but also because I've seen the industry evolve, and I've tried to keep one step ahead of the game if I can.
When you said I'm very proud of my business,
I'm very proud of it, yeah, especially the rebranding of it.
That's great to hear. And there was a smile and there was a real energy about that. Is that the buzz for you? Is the loyalty of that customer that you mentioned, the 20 plus years, is that what you get a kick out of, or is there something else in your business?
It's the fact that if I'm looking a customer in the eye and say that is the best price I can give you, they know that that is the truth. They know that that is the best price I can give. I cannot go any lower. I've got clients that, I've had for 20 years. I know the names of their past dogs. I know the names of their kids, their grandkids. And that personal level I like to maintain with a lot of my customers, because even though you need an online presence in this industry, my online presence is very, very strong, I still feel you need a personal touch. What
was the point that you thought, yeah, I've got a sustainable business? Was there a moment where you can define that?
Yeah, and it was a pretty tough moment, actually. We took on a large retail firm of shop outlets. It was about 400 of them. And unfortunately, they went into administration owing Purple Cow a huge amount of money.
When you say you took them on, you were supplying them?
We were supplying them.
Okay.
We were supplying all of their stores with all of their stationery and till rolls, etc., etc. And the payment started to get a little bit longer, and so then we had to start having some tough conversations. And the next thing, I got a phone call to say they'd gone into administration, and it was a lot. It was a huge amount of money, but of course, given the office supplies industry, I'm buying a product and I'm selling it on. I'm not just selling myself as an accountant, for example. I'm actually buying something physical and selling it on. And so, of course, we were in a position when we weren't going to get paid, but we had to pay our wholesaler for everything that we'd bought for that particular customer. So that was a tough few years. It really, really, really was.
So it took you a few years to recover from, to trade out of that.
Yeah.
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 Was there a moment where you thought, no, I'm going to throw the towel in? This
yeah.
is too much. And how did you?
Actually, no. No, there wasn't. It happens. It happens.
It sounds like there was a moment where you thought you might, and then you got yourself together and thought, okay, no, come on, let's do this.
But again, it gave me more confidence in what I was doing and how I was trading and how I was being with my customers. Because if a large retail outlet company can go into administration, given the way I operate and run Purple Cow, touch wood, it would be very unlikely that would happen, purely because of how I trade. I don't need 30 delivery vans on the road. I don't need warehouse space that holds 20,000 products. Why do I need that? I don't need that.
And has that changed, that experience of the 400 outlets going, has that changed how you manage your business in terms of how much you invest in a particular customer?
Yes, it's made me realise that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. And I didn't intentionally mean to do that. It was just an opportunity for this business that approached me to say, you're not going to say no, are you? When you've got that sort of opportunity, you're not, because you're all business owners are trying to strive to be more successful and to push for that another 100,000 turnover. And that's what we do. And if you don't want to do that, and if you don't want to keep pushing, you may as well stop. That's as far as I see it. So all the time I want to keep pushing, and I want to reach another 50,000 turnover, and I want to keep helping businesses, schools, charities save money, then that's what I'll continue to do.
You mentioned that the industry is getting harder, it's getting trickier, more challenging. Can you talk a little bit about what you see the challenges are in the industry and how you might address that?
I think because the industry has shrunk, there are a lot of, how do I put it, office supplies dealers out there that are very, very aggressive in, not in price, because I'm very aggressive in price, but very aggressive on how they sell. And I don't want my business to be represented like that. So I don't hard sell to people.
Is that online, or is that
face-to-face networking that I do an awful lot of? Online, although online, if your website's working and people are being able to use it easily and navigate their way around it and place an order in 5 minutes, not 35 minutes, then the prices are on there, they speak for themselves. You know, that's not an issue. It's, I guess, I've had clients, a couple of clients in central London, and one of my competitors has walked in and spoken to the receptionist, and he's literally left her in tears. He's been that aggressive towards her in that I want the business. But the industry is it's always had an element of that, but it's not how I sell. I think people buy from people.
Technology is often something that small business owners struggle with in terms of having to learn so many different things to do. Yeah, well, it sounds like, you've got this, Prima is sitting there doing all that. Have you had to spend a lot of time getting to grips with that technology, or is it something?
Yeah, and I still haven't.
Okay. So how do you manage that? Because you're obviously busy, you've got this.
Yeah, I mean, Prima saves me an awful lot of time, particularly from online ordering customers. I explained earlier, it literally just pops up into Prima. They order, pops up into Prima. I press 2 buttons, it goes to the wholesaler. Bosh, it's delivered. Yeah. Lovely. Technology-wise, I think I'm there at the moment. What I need to work on more, and have done since I've owned my own business, is the customer service side, because that's really, really important. It's more important than how a delivery will get to a customer, as long as it gets there the next day when I say it will. It's that building the relationship. But having said that, if I do have customers who don't want to have any relationship other than with my website, and that's fine too. So as long as that is working as it should, and it's looking slick and it's looking professional and it's getting my message across, and you mentioned my mission statement that I wrote on there earlier, then I don't think at the moment I can do much more than what I'm doing.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
No, I don't think there is.
Wow, that's great to hear.
I don't think there is. I mean, you could sit and think, I made that mistake and I made that mistake, but I try not to look back, because I find it negative. I prefer to be, this is where I am now, this is where I want to be in 5 years. Whatever has happened, it's been and gone. I've probably lost customers along the way, that I've kicked myself, that I wasn't paying enough attention at the time. We're not all perfect, are we? But I don't like to look back. I like to look forward, and I know my business runs as efficiently as any other competitor in the UK. And as long as I've got that, and I've got me, I'm doing okay, I think.
Sounds like you are.
Well, I hope so.
Thanks very much for coming in, Ruth.
Thanks, Elaine, and to you as well. Thank you.